I'm Juile Neira with Julie Helps Veterans. I'm a veteran spouse.
I'm Chase Mason, Living Path Mortgage, Marine Corps veteran.
And this is Brain Stephenson, owner of
Stephenson Landscapes.
Thank you for joining us today. We want to learn a little bit about your business. How long have you been in business?
So I've been in business since 2019.
Okay. And you told us that you did have like a part-time, you did it as a part-time job for a little bit?
I started off working for another landscape business, and then I was doing this part-time. So,
okay.
And then just
snowballed into doing it, on your own.
Right.
So 2019, so that means that you kind of were, kind of new as the pandemic was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how did that go for you?
Lost a lot of customers.
Challenging.
But a lot of them stuck it out. So
That's good.
we just had to work around it.
Yeah. And what I like about that is that, you have a following. You have people that trust you, and, they're willing to stick out something so big.
Yes, ma'am.
And just continue, trusting you and knowing that you're going to take care of them. So you've obviously built a pretty good, customer base.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful.
What type of landscaping, different services you have?
I do residential lawn care, commercial, grounds maintenance.
Okay.
I can do everything from irrigation repair, sod install, pine straw install, mulch.
Maintenance, just maintaining yards?
Yeah,
anything
just
like that too?
maintaining yards. Of course, we do the regular bush and tree trimming, take down a tree every now and then if we need to.
Okay.
Drainage, if you have drainage issues in your yard, we can take care of that as well.
What kind of locations? Charleston, obviously, but how far out do you go? Or, do you have a team of guys or just you? I mean, how's it,
I have,
model?
so the Stephenson Landscapes comprises of basically myself. I do a lot of the work myself.
Okay. Enjoy the sun.
Right. I do have a couple guys that I pick up from a local ministry, and some of them are actual veterans, and they'll come out and work for me as 1099 contractors as needed. With a bunch more contracts coming up this year, I'm probably going to end up hiring full-time W-2 employees.
Expansion, growth.
Right.
Wonderful.
So we service mostly all of the Charleston area. I go as far as I spent a couple weeks out of Isle of Palms repairing irrigation.
Okay.
Mount Pleasant, Charleston, North Charleston, go out to Monk's Corner.
Somerville.
A little bit depends on where in Somerville. I'm not going to go all the way out to the other side of Somerville just for one lawn, but if the work is there, we'll go out there.
Sure.
The biggest project and the furthest project we've done is 486 acres.
Wow.
Privately owned plantation out in Edisto Island.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That's a big project.
That is
Well,
awesome.
that was
You're done in an hour, right?
no. That's 2-3 days of just nothing more than weed eating.
That's just me. Oh my God.
Just weed eating, not mowing grass, just weed eating.
Wow.
3 days of weed
About
eating.
3 days of weed
Oh my
eating.
gosh.
Back.
The customer would have us come out maybe every 3 weeks or so, unless he had some other stuff to do. And
Okay.
then just wonderful, quiet place right on the South Edisto.
Peaceful.
Yes.
Imagine.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Right on the South Edisto River, so
Okay.
it's great.
How did you? How did that one come to you? Like, how did that happen?
So when I used to work for the other company, there was a coworker who left that company about the same time I did. He went to work at the plantation to do irrigation for him, and then I ended up getting the work through him.
That's good.
Okay.
Word of mouth referrals.
Another
That's
one,
great.
yes.
Right.
That's a great job, and hopefully you'll get a lot of feedback from that. And
Yes, ma'am.
Grassroots marketing.
that's amazing.
Grassroots. there you
Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yes, ma'am.
So we definitely heard a little bit about your business. Let's dive into family. Tell us about your family.
It's me, my fiance, and my 2 twins, boy and girl. Birthday is 4/3/21.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Nice.
Special.
My son, he's just rambunctious and just one of those kids that always wants to eat and watch TV. And My daughter, she's pretty quiet. Put something on TV. But they're a handful. It's
Together.
together. Yes. I didn't realize how hard it was to run a business and then
Family.
deal with twins.
Right.
So it's kind of sometimes an argument with me and the fiance because I get home from doing all this landscape work and I'm like,
Jump right into the next.
I was
job.
like, I gotta do all this paperwork. I gotta get these invoices out. I gotta make schedules, and I'm spending hours and hours doing this after I get home. But I can't do that till 9, 10 o'clock at night when they go to bed. So it's like I get up 5 o'clock in the morning. And I start my day, and I don't go to bed till like sometimes 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, but in the case when you run a business, you got to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier is, you know, you have to be available and you have to do what's expected of you. I mean, you know, people are counting on you. But that sounds awesome.
The preparation for that, probably a lot of good training, so to speak, and the mindset mainly of coming from the military too.
And I'll share a quick story. When we found out, before we found out my fiance was pregnant, we have a Dachshund Chihuahua mix that we had. And she thought it was funny to make a gender reveal box as kind of like a gag, a prank, but pull out a puppy. Because we were getting a second Chihuahua Dachshund mix.
Okay.
Well, the box never came to use because we just broadcasted we got the puppy, but then I told her, I was like, you jinxed yourself. She goes, why? Because you're pregnant now. You made a gender reveal box and now you're pregnant. So time goes by. I think she hadn't gotten to her first doctor's appointment. And without going into too much detail, we had to take her to MUSC to get checked out. They ran different ultrasounds only to find out that, hey, you're having these complications because not only you have one, but you have two. Now, I didn't know this because when they took her to have the ultrasounds, they made me sit in the waiting area. She comes out to use the bathroom real quick before she went back in, and she said, yeah, we're having twins. And I literally look at her, it's like,
and she runs back in.
Beeline.
Like, oh, by the way, I gotta go.
No, she's going to the bathroom. She goes, oh, so you know we're having twins. And I look at her, it's like stunned in my face. And I look at her, it's like, what does that mean? She means we're having two, dummy. And walks back in.
Gotta go.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why she didn't need the gender reveal box because you got one of each.
Right.
Catch you later.
Yes. So,
Wow.
but they're definitely a pleasure. You know, we have them in daycare, which they're sick all the time, and as you can see, I got a cold from them, and then, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. They're great kids, smart.
Wonderful. And you keep saying fiance, so when are you?
Congratulations.
Yes, absolutely.
We had planned this, planned to get married before the kids, but then the kids came, so we're just kind of just
skating by.
Yeah, kind of skating by, taking our time, trying to plan everything out.
Sure.
You know,
living life.
you know, you figure
with twins.
You figured one would suck all the money out of you, but then, you know, we got two.
Yes. Yes.
So
So yes, we can understand where you're coming from. We need more
two little ones
400 plus
Right.
acre, plantations. That's what we need, right?
Yes, definitely.
So let's talk about your military career. How long did you serve? What branch?
I did about 12 years in the Navy. Started off as an operations specialist, and then cross-rated it as the intel field, and that was just boring. So,
Didn't suit you.
no, not
Okay.
one bit.
You're an outside door. You like doing different stuff.
Yeah, operations. I did radar navigation on ships, stuff like that. But it was such a wide range of things that operations specialists did on the ships that It was
never got
boring.
thing.
Our
Yeah.
days changed daily, and
Okay.
it was just more exciting. I really enjoyed it. But then when I got stuck in a little office building, in a room, not even half the size of this room all day long, I was
Just didn't suit you. Okay.
Sure.
Live and learn,
Always. That's what life is about, man. Learning those lessons. Absolutely.
Take it. How did those skills, just the military in general, kind of help you become a good business? Like, where was the step of, hey, I want to become an entrepreneur versus just getting a job or something along those lines? Where was that decision, I guess? And it might not be a clear-cut answer either.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. It's sad because you have all these Fortune 500 companies that say, "Oh, we're veteran friendly." The problem with that is, someone like myself who did radar navigation for almost 12
Translation.
years.
Where does that exactly fit?
Where does that fit at working at Lowe's? Where does that fit at Home Depot? And, when I got out, I had the roughest time finding a job.
Okay.
And it's not like
A lot of veterans do.
it's
Yes.
not. It's sad because you have people with past criminal convictions have a hard time, or people with no education have a hard time. But you got a veteran coming out saying, "Hey, I'm looking for work. I'll do anything. I'm a veteran. You're a veteran friend."
Manage $1 million of worth
You
of
go through
equipment.
go through the interviews, and they check your skills. And you don't hear a thing. At one point, I probably put in, I would say, 40, 50 applications.
Wow.
And truthful, the only person that responded back that wanted me to work for him was Pizza Hut to be a delivery driver. And I was like, okay. Out of being humble, I said, I'll take it. It's better than nothing.
Good for you.
But I saw that. I quickly saw it. I was like, I'm spending more on my vehicle than I'm making. So I got out of that and then found another job doing hydroblasting back in the day. And then got back to it later on. It's good money, but it's sad to see that people put that perspective that you're a veteran, you're going to find a job. Over time,
it's not always that easy.
Over time, I got into the landscape, and I really can't remember what brought me into working for a landscape company.
Okay.
But I got into it and quickly learned different tricks of the trade, and then just like anybody else, you got to value. You got to put a value on yourself.
Yeah.
If you know that you could do the work and you could do it better than some of these others, you got to take that and run with it. And I saw that. I was like, man, these landscape companies are making a killing off the work I do.
Yeah.
And I was like, why not me? So
Take the leap of faith and invest in yourself.
Entrepreneurial spirit. Yeah.
I had no idea about running a business. I was going
Yeah.
through Trident Tech at the time, taking general credits for associate arts. Took a couple accounting and a couple business and a couple horticulture courses. I'm like, okay. Now I knew my grandfather back in the day when I was younger, he owned his own company and he would take me to work, and I saw, hey, look at all the neat stuff we're doing. But of course, over the years, you forget that. I got back into it and just was like, hey, this can't be too bad. And as long as you
Good.
take what you're doing and learn from what you're doing, you can make a business work.
One
But
day at
if
a
you,
time.
right.
Not hit for the grand slam.
Yeah,
just get
Rome
the
wasn't
basic.
built in a day,
That's how
man.
you win the
And
game.
before that, I had a friend of mine that was trying to get me to go in together in business, and I wasn't so keen on that. He came up with, he financed the pickup truck, and he borrowed some equipment from his friend who wanted him to pay him a certain amount of money. And this said friend was just like, hey, everything we make needs to go to the truck payment first before we pay you. I was like, no, that ain't my truck. My name's not on the truck. So I squashed that all together, and that's when I went to work for somebody else, for an actual company. And then when I finally got to myself, I started doing lawns only on the weekends on the side. Now, I didn't have a pickup truck. I didn't have lawn equipment. But I took what I had, I rented a U-Haul, I rented from Thrifty
Nice.
when I needed to do lawns on the weekends. I started off with a friend of mine who said, here's some equipment to use while you're doing this on the weekends. To, you know, I don't have all the equipment that these big companies have, but I do own my truck, I do own my zero turn, I do own my trailers, my blowers, my weeders. All this came from the small little $20, $30, $40 lawns that I was doing several years ago.
Just piggyback.
Oh, just picking it up.
Invest back in your business.
Right, back into business.
Essential.
And I say, okay, well, I need this, so how do I get there? And I took that and I ran with it. And so essentially all my equipment, except for my zero turn, is cash paid out. My zero turn is financed, but my business makes payments for it. And the hard part is you'll get these bigger companies that say, the smaller man, we don't want to deal with you because you're not a big name company. But what they really realize is some of these smaller companies like myself came from your big man companies that did the work.
Right.
Yep. The
good.
labor, so to speak, the expertise
Like a
is there.
product.
Right.
Yeah.
For if you came to me and said, hey, what can you provide me that these big companies are?
Everything.
I could provide everything and more.
Yeah. Because
They-
I've been there.
Because that was me doing it.
Yeah.
Now they have the finances and they have the equipment to back them up. But I can guarantee you I can do what some of these companies, and like my,
They can get you on the phone probably
Yeah.
too. They could, all
Quicker.
kinds of, a lot of things go into the service
Yep.
a lot more than.
and
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not gonna call out names or anything like that. But
No need.
the townhome that I live in, we have our low HOA. That's a bunch of HOAs are sent to property management companies nowadays. So they have a landscape company come in, and they'll come in and we'll take our kids around the block. And I'm looking around, I'm like, did they even do anything? I said, for the cost that you're paying these guys, I could do the job 3-4 times better.
So what happened? Did you pitch
No,
your
I
proposal?
I have not. I've reached out. Now
Come
I've reached out. I've reached out to the property management, and I talked to the guy. I talked to one of the HOA board members. I was like, hey, what are you guys going to do about this? Because I said, I'm coming to you as a resident complaining about the mud they splash on my truck every time they blow, or the stuff they leave in my driveway, because there was the front of our townhomes in the common areas. We have to do our little fenced-in backyard, but you come into my property and you just blow leaves underneath my truck and think it's okay, or you do a cleanup and you leave stuff out in the road so that it's all over the place.
My job is X. I don't care about Y. I'm just
Right.
leave it alone.
So
Right.
I look at the guys and say, what are you going to do about this? Like, you can't let these guys run you over. You can't let them just come in for 30 minutes thinking they did a job and leave, and you pay them full out deal. I was like, that's eating up your money that you put on projects elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's just like, and he keeps telling me, I was like, I know, I got to figure it out. I'm like, hey, I'm here. You know where I live.
Right. There you go.
I was
Yeah.
like,
Well, one day we hope to hear that you at least pitched.
Yeah. Please
hope
keep
so.
us updated.
So on top of that, we'll back up a little bit and talk about careers. So of course, when the twins came and the pandemic, I was in an auto accident, so I had to heal from that. I took a short break, and I eventually went to work for another company. Well, they were just, so they say, hey man, you got a driver's license and you're willing to come to work. They say, let's work you. You're talking about 7 days a week for like 3 months straight.
When you're a rock star, they want you to keep being a rock
Right.
star.
But then when you get to that pushing point where you have to go out to a job site and you're there almost 24 hours before you come home, you're just like, and my fiance is not too happy about it because I quit that job, up and quit that job and went back to landscaping full time. Yeah. So of course it's the winter season, grasses are growing, people aren't so active on getting certain things done during the season. So it's just like, hey man, you gotta do something. you did this at the wrong time. Now it's hitting us with the bills. And I look at her and say, well, look, since I quit, I picked up a 3-year contract with a local college. I have a church out in North Charleston that just picked up a contract with. And then I have, this one I could probably say, I don't think it's going to be too bad because I actually like the idea. I just picked up another, we're in the works to sign the deal for a property management company to handle 3 separate properties for senior living. And they are,
That sounds great.
It's a low income senior properties. There's three different ones that I'm picking up, and they are through the Humanities Foundation. So I'm very interested.
Good luck.
Thank you. I'm very excited for that. Those are supposed to start at the 1st of January. So.
Okay. Past good luck then. I thought
Yes.
you were still negotiating there.
Well, yeah, the deal isn't officially signed yet, but that's when they want me to start servicing, 1st of January.
Well,
Sounds
congratulations
like progress
on.
and things are at least in the right direction.
Right.
Again, you're enjoying what you're doing now.
But that goes along with, my fiance's being worried. I'm worried at sometimes. But that also goes along with, I'm a man of faith, and I deal with a ministry in North Charleston that they are faith-based, and they teach the men to rely on faith and God instead of constant worries, which I understand the reasons why they do. But with them, it's one of those things that you have to take that leap of faith.
Yes.
And me quitting that job was a leap of faith that God's going to take it and put it in His hands. So,
I love it.
and I said,
Amen.
my bad habit. I'll tell you this: my worst habit ever is continued on through military and even today. And I fought to quit is smoking. So I stay away from the kids when I do it. I try not to do it around others. And I go outside on my back porch and I'm smoking a cigarette. And I instantly thought to myself, I said, in my head kept on, a line kept on going in my head. It's like, I'm going to restore your faith. Watch this. And so I think 2023 has got some pretty big things planned for Stephenson Landscapes. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the new season to start.
We're excited for you.
Out with the old, in with the new.
I love it.
So,
That's awesome.
yes.
All of that. I mean, just the raw of it all, like how much you shared with us, how much you were willing to share, and just your faith. You're not afraid to share that. I mean, I believe, if you're a true person of faith, you shouldn't have a problem with sharing it, right?
Definitely.
I think it's time now for you to share with us your civilian business shout out. So who do you feel, someone that you've worked with or personally, someone that you really want to shout out? Because this is, specifically to help our community. We want to impact our community.
I'll say Shield Ministry in North Charleston.
Okay.
That's the ministry I'm talking about. They do a great job with the guys. They help them get employment. They've actually got a CDL course. They've got a partnership with, I think, Palmetto for a CDL training course for the guys.
Nice.
They just opened up a new location out in Walterboro, and they got local, as far as Walterboro, they got local businesses that are, once the guys start filling in, the local businesses are going to employ these guys.
Okay.
So that they get their
work training program.
That's
right.
great.
So they'll get their ministry class time, and then they'll have their employment as well. So
Anything to help the community.
yes,
Yeah.
definitely,
Great.
definitely.
That's a perfect shout out.
Thank you so much. Yes, you're the first to shout out a nonprofit, but why not? I mean,
Again,
we'll
they support
provide
you,
all
they
of the
support your business,
information.
et cetera.
Yeah. If anybody wants to donate to the cause, they're welcome to do so.
That is right.
We'll
We'll
provide
have
that
their information in
information.
the-
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Well, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It was
Appreciate it.
great to get to know you. And we wish you all the best in your endeavors in 2023.
2023.
Yes.